Free socks.
Squirrel.
Hey, y'all. Hey, Spencer. We're swapped around again.
Huh?
We're swapped around again.
Yep, I know you do it on purpose. And there we go.
Hey, all.
And we're sorry, did you get that text in time?
Just in time.
Yeah, I was like, well, Misty's not here. They come out with us. We know y'all. They know y'all.
Well, nice to join y'all today.
Oh, yeah. Thanks
Good to see y'all.
Hey, everybody in chat. Thank you for joining us. Sorry, a little bit late. It was House's fault. Don't nobody be blaming that on me. Well,
I got a new tablet. I couldn't figure out how to work it. Now I can't even see chat.
Ain't no
excuse. Oh no.
I don't know how to. I'm gonna have to see chat on my phone, I guess. If I had my technical advisor, which is Abby, if she was here, she'd have it fixed up in just a second.
Aww.
Are you doing it on your tablet? Are you doing the live stream on your tablet?
I'm on my tablet.
You can't. Is it turned sideways?
Yeah.
And it's not showing chat?
I can't see chat. I'm afraid to squish into these buttons up there. I'm afraid they'll go out.
Oh.
So I don't know. I ain't had time to play with this thing. I mean, I got it Wednesday and I ain't had time to use it.
Oh. Well, anyway.
Now, if I was disassembling some type of weapon, would be fine. But now a computer,
right?
That's my kryptonite, brother.
Technologically
challenged.
Huh? Yeah. Crazy Nana from Alabama. That's right. You can talk about him and he won't know. Wait.
Hey, Gary.
Is that Verby's new thing?
That's a good question.
Anyway. Okay. So sorry for the delay, y'all. And everybody should know Chad and Erica Black. We met them. When did we meet y'all? I know that we met you in person at the meet and greet, but you were already communicating with us, right?
No, yeah. Go ahead. You can tell the story.
It was the first weekend in August, I believe, that we met Roger Williams and Greg Howes at the Cryptids Conference in McMinnville, Tennessee. That got us started.
So you met Roger and Greg first, and then you still felt the need to come meet everybody else.
There was no turning back after that moment.
I think we were. Listen, I think we were at the conference for probably 2.5 hours, and 2 hours of that was just talking to Greg.
Probably.
I can believe that.
Hey, I wasn't complaining. I mean, one of the last things he says, you guys should come to the meet and greet in Talladega, and we looked at each other on the way home. I was like, let's go to the meet and greet. That sounds fun. So
because the whole point of having y'all on here really is just to show people. Hold on, let me back up. Whenever you first get into the Bigfoot subject, for everybody that is watching this show or cryptids in general, you start thinking about it. You get to the point where you do something crazy like, hey, let me go out in the woods and look and see if I see any signs of these things. Then you start finding stuff. Now, in Greg's case, they came to him. Mm-hmm. So, like in Greg's case, and this goes for half the people that have actually experienced these things. You're not thinking about them. They're not on your radar. It's not something that you ever consider. And then stuff starts happening to you, and it kind of launches you into this field. For the other half, it's like me. You see something, and it makes you start looking into it. And then the more you look into it, the more you're like, well, holy crap, these things are real. The point of having y'all on here, and the point of having other people on here, it's a bigger part to our show, is that instead of just having somebody on that's like, hey, these are my experiences. I had 21 Class A encounters, with 17 dogmen and 4 boogers, and I've seen a witch and 2 UFOs and all that stuff, and then they get on here and do a show. Instead of that, there's a whole lot of people out there that come at this from a very granular start, where they've seen 1 or 2 things, or they've heard 1 or 2 things, they've experienced 1 or 2 things, and they don't have a lot of information on the subject. They get on YouTube, they get on Facebook, they get on Google. They don't know what to believe by who they're listening to, what they're reading, because a lot of the stuff when you first start, it sounds contradictory. It sounds like there's multiple camps on these subjects. People talking about boogers do this, no boogers do that. If you get on Facebook, it's a bunch of people arguing about boogers can cloak. No, they can't. Boogers can mind speak. No, they can't. Boogers are undiscovered apes. No, boogers are relic hominids, or boogers are Nephilim. There's a bunch of confusion when you first get in this. And one of the things that Greg, Misty, and myself have always tried to do is be approachable on the subject, because I would love for all the people that are out there watching the YouTube shows, if you've had just a little tiny thing, hell, if you've never even experienced anything, you want to talk to somebody in your area that can point you in the right direction of where to go to look for this kind of stuff or anything, talk to us. Let us know. But
I mean, we're approachable. We'll give it that. I mean, we try to be. And the thing that makes me so proud about this whole entire group, it's not just me and Spencer and Misty. It's the whole group, guys. It's right. Everybody is so approachable. Everybody's down to earth. I mean, we're just average folks. I mean, we just got on here. We got a common interest. We've all had, like me and Spencer and Misty have had, personal encounters. But, I'm thrilled to talk to people that's never had an encounter, just that they've got an interest and they got questions. I mean, that's what I love to see, people that's interested, honestly interested. Now, y'all can guess what I think about the trolls, but, the people that it's honest people. And that's what I want to ask y'all. Were y'all, I told y'all about the group, and I mean, I'm pretty sure, y'all figured out really quick what I thought of the group when I first met y'all.
Right.
Because I kept bragging on everybody and what a great group of people. Were y'all let down or impressed one way or the other when y'all actually met the people in person?
Hold on.
Look, I'm using the impressed loosely.
It would have to be loose. Hold on though. Before you even go there, what made you go to that conference where you met Greg at?
How about we start with what made us fight to go to that conference?
Okay.
We wanted to go so bad, and we were actually traveling there that Thursday.
Now he's talking about the one in Tennessee.
You know what's weird about that? I saw it on Facebook like that week. I'm like, oh, honey, this sounds like you for sure. You want to think about going to that? No. But then in my head, I couldn't let it go. And then it was like Thursday, I thought about it again. And then Friday night, I'm like, honey, we can go visit my family while we're in McMinnville. You sure you don't want to go and just check it out? And finally, he's like, okay. So I bought the tickets. And then I heard after the fact that they had been sold out, I guess by Saturday, which is weird if that's true. But I just couldn't let it go. And we went. And when we got there, we first went to see whoever the speaker was at that time. I think
it was Martin Groves at the time.
And, pretty much from there, it was just impressive. It was way more than I realized it would be. It was way more detailed and way more vendors and way more everything than I had expected. I did not realize, that there were so many researchers and so many experiences. I just thought overall it was a great topic and we would have been into it. But yeah, we got there and just followed along the rest of the day there. Very enjoyable.
We were there for longer than I would have thought. And part of it was, again, talking with Roger. He was the first one we really met. And then Roger introduced us to Greg and, talking about their experiences. And I'm like, I've always believed in this stuff. I think I've said a million times that I can't, unless somebody proves to me that they're lying, I can't, if somebody tells me a story or their experience, I can't say, well, you're lying to me because you've never lied to me before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's so, meeting people and them telling their experiences to us was like, okay, let's hit the meet and greet. This ought to be interesting. And then, here we are, how many months into this? I mean, and the amount of experiences that we've heard and people that give out their heartfelt, I've seen people cry over their stories or over their experiences.
Sure.
And I'm just like, I'm blown away by it. So now I'm like in mode. That's all I want to learn. I want to learn all of this, whether I have an experience or not. I want to hear everybody's experience because the scientific side of me wants to really say that these things exist, and to deny it would be just stupid. I mean, I'm sorry if I offend anybody with that, but you can't deny.
He offended the Amish people last night. Now he's offending all scientific.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But I just, I think we're both in the same we want to do as many meet and greets. We're like wanting to go to the more conferences now. And it's just to hear stories, just to hear people's experiences with everything. Cause that's really neat. I mean, and then what's nice is that we've been on multiple podcasts now, Old Line Cryptids, our Beards and Boogers one. And I hear everybody that tells their experiences says the same thing. It's like, you can tell when somebody's lying when they trip up and you're like, well, last time you said this, but this time you're saying this. I've never even heard that from anybody. Everybody's experiences are exactly the same every time. And I love that.
What
I think that beyond that, wanting to meet, the people in the groups, is how down to earth most people seem to be. And we love that. We are all about that. So that's very comforting, and just to get to hear their other stories of their lives, not just about boogers and, hauntings or anything like that, just getting to know them. It's been enjoyable.
Yeah, that's the thing about it, y'all. I mean, that's like our meet and greets. The last meet and greet, well, pretty much the last two at least, and more than that, really. But we've had people that's had experiences. We've had some pretty amazing experiences, and just people that were there for the meet and greet. I mean, for most of us, we're there to just meet people, and that's where we're at with it. And it's more about meeting the people than it is the experiences.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, obviously that's why we go, because we haven't had experiences. So we're going to meet everybody and we've made so many, I'll say online friends. I've got John Lamb contacted me this morning. Terry Allen, we're friends with, really good friends with Roger and then Jerry, Jeff, and David Blaylock. We've all become one big close family, and I love that about all of this. And you guys, it's been great.
It's one of the better sides of the Bigfoot world is the connectivity, the fellowship, whatever you want to call it. That's definitely one of the good parts of getting in. Well, I guess it depends on who you get in with. There are, in my mind, it breaks down. There's a bunch of different levels where it's like you can just watch YouTube shows, and that's fine. I'm not calling any of this wrong. You can just watch YouTube shows and keep to yourself. Some people will start getting in chat, and they will end up meeting people in chat. on YouTube shows. Some people will get on Facebook and they'll start interconnecting and making friends on Facebook and being able to see personal profiles. Some people will actually, get up and meet together and go look for things. Some people will go to conferences. Some people will go to meet and greets. I will say one of the things I wanted to point out is, what did you think of the difference between a conference versus a meet and greet? And the only reason I ask is because the whole reason we started doing meet and greets is because I want people to be able to, well, we all do. Me, Misty, and Greg, we want people to be able to go somewhere where these things are and be around like-minded people out in the field. When you go to a conference, there are conferences where you go to and you're going to a room in a hotel or some kind of large building that has been rented, and you're listening to a bunch of people talk, and you may go away from there with a sense of, wow, that was really impressive. I like this person and that person. But it's different going to a meet and greet, because not only are you meeting the people, but you're there in it. You know what I mean? You're there, and if something happens, if you hear a howl or somebody finds a track or whatever, you're part of it. What do you think about the difference between a conference versus the meet and greet?
I think that conference, at least in our situation, and my mind probably wouldn't change if the situation was different, but the conference was a great introduction. And again, we didn't realize the experiences out there and the level or the depth, of people who have had experiences. So it was a great introduction, and it was also educational. But at the same time, the meet and greet was educational in a different way. And to me, it's cool to meet more people and have the one-on-one experiences. Thankfully, we met Roger, who he's not shy about talking, and that I'm grateful for. Because if we hadn't met him, we would not be in this world, and we love it. And then obviously Greg, also we met them, and he was very informative too. And we just enjoyed, listening to them. But at the meet and greet, it was we had car trouble, which is why we couldn't make it there. We went that Thursday a day early. But we ended up only making it for that Saturday night overnight. And we wish we could have been there longer, but I can tell you, we were in the chat before then, and it was just like the people that we love, the people that we know, that we're used to, that, hey, I've never camped before. Well, here comes don't worry about anything. You need this, 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 and this. Or, hey, we got you. We'll bring this, and this extra, and it was definitely a group effort. And I love that. And that was from the get-go. And then you got Greg making the dinners, which was amazing.
Yep.
And, not every group is going to be the same, obviously, but the meet and greet was way above and beyond the conference.
I look at when you go to a conference, it's her and I, and yes, we're going to meet a few people and learn a few things. But when you go to the meet and greet, it's more intimate. You're meeting more people up close, personal, having great conversation. When we pulled up there, we're sitting there, like, as we're pulling into the one lane road, we saw Mark and Becca leaving, and we were like, hey, that's Mark and Becca. We watched their show. And as we pulled in, we started seeing some people, that, like, hey, I think we know that. Well, we, internet know them. And then we get there and we start walking around and we meet Spencer. And then from Spencer, it just went on, and we've met so many people now that I wish we knew those people at that time to carry on more conversation and talk about things. But, there's going to be, future things happen that we're going to meet people. And I'm really excited about that, because I've made what I feel are really good friends that I have not met yet personally, but I can't wait to meet. And I think that's a big deal for me. Now, experience wise, I don't have one. I'm always willing to listen to somebody's, because that's the kind of stuff I'm into, and I'll be into this for life now. So,
Well,
just
you know,
think about how different the next meet and greet you go to will feel. How it'll be.
Sure. Yep.
Yep.
absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
well, I mean, the meet and greet that y'all went to, like, for example, not to name drop or anything, y'all, but it's a damn fact. I mean, like, Troy Allen and Kumbo were there, and, like, whatever it was, Saturday night, they were sitting around and had a crowd around them, and they were just talking for hours and hours. That's stuff that you'll never hear on YouTube or at a conference or anything.
Right.
You know, that's like a personal experience, and getting to see these people in person. You know, it's like Greg's razor blade story. You're never going to hear that on YouTube or at a conference, y'all.
Yeah. Let me just say, I'll never look at egg drop soup the same way.
No doubt.
Here we go. Anyway.
But then that's the thing about it. I mean, and that's what we want people to realize is, you know, we want people to really get to know everybody. And honestly, it does. I know people that's never been to one and not had the experience. This is going to sound crazy, but it's almost like you're going to a family reunion. It's absolutely like a family reunion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you described it that way to us when you told us about it, and it was better than any family reunion I've ever been to. It was so easy. It was just like be there, and then it was so easy. You can be on your own if you want, or you can go hang out with people. You just
Thanks,
you do
John.
what you want, you know.
You know, and then somehow or another, I mean, you wound up. Erica got the super mushroom fire starter.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, you know, like Misty handed over Excalibur.
She did. Misty just flings it out. She's like, "Here, I like you." Take
Yeah, it was quick. Yeah, she did. It was quick. I was
Misty's awesome.
wow.
Take the magic mushroom.
I mean, I thought it was going to be like at some of the weddings, these redneck weddings, where the bride throws the bouquet and then there's like a fist fight breaks out. That's what I was waiting on. But it went really smooth.
It did. With great power comes great responsibility. So wield it carefully.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, wow.
No, we loved it though. It was great, and we can't wait to go back to the next one. You know, we're really looking forward.
We're actually planning our vacations around like either meet and greets or just like if we go north, we can see, you know, Spencer, Billy, my boys, Jerry, Jeff. Obviously, I'll never get to see Laylac because there ain't no way in hell I'm driving out to
I'm not
Oregon.
Well, the way things are right now, I wouldn't get on a plane if they gave me the airline.
No,
Agreed.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so you went to a conference, you went to a meet and greet, you've been hanging out with people. Let me ask you this. On the Bigfoot level, I mean, I know you guys have not had anything happen yet that was like super impressive, but here's something that I didn't know. Whenever I first got in this, I mean, there's almost 40 years of my life before I knew anything about boogers. And then whenever I actually started paying attention and looking into it and hanging out with people that were telling me, oh, you got to look for this, you got to listen for that, I think back, and now my memory is getting fuzzy because a lot of the stuff was so long ago, but I think back and there was probably 3-4 things that happened that might have been boogers, but I wasn't paying attention to it. Have y'all at any point, have you gone back and thought, well, maybe that was something?
I will say that for me, tree structures, stuff I never, you know, when you go into the woods, most of the time you're paying attention to the trail. You're paying attention to what's around you. You're not really,
Sure.
And I look back on all the hiking that I've done throughout the years, solo or whatever. And I can remember there were times that I would like walk through the woods and I would see like, maybe X's and think, how did the tree get that way when there's nothing above it to drop the tree down or a branch down like that? How did the tree get upside down with the root system up? It's just stuff that I didn't really pay attention to that much. It was like a quick question in passing, and then I let it go. And then when I hear everybody's experiences and start researching this stuff and all of the things that I thought I was seeing, and now other people have seen it and they attribute it to that. Again, we saw a picture of probably a 8-inch diameter tree upside down with the root system up. And I was like, there's no way a tree came from, it's upside down. So it didn't fall out of a tree. It's a tree. So it's things like that I look back and think to myself, I know I've seen that before. So.
Right.
Let me ask you a question here. Now that y'all kind of been broke into the group extensively.
Well, they ain't been stump broke yet, but yes.
Well, no, not stump broke yet. But here's the deal. Here's my question. Now that you've been around these people and y'all are messaging these people and talking to them, y'all been on the podcast, you've really, really got to know a lot of people that's in this group. And by what y'all have learned from being like up close, personal, meeting us in person, talking to us online, group chats, backstage, whatever, other podcasts, all this exposure that y'all have had to this group. Now that y'all have seen the people behind the stage versus just watching the show, now that you've got to kind of know us, me, Spencer, Misty, Jeff, everybody, the people that y'all have heard talk about our encounters, now that y'all have been around us, does that take away from our encounters or does that more validate it for y'all?
No, it doesn't. Anybody we've talked to, overall or on a little bit more intimate level, it doesn't discount the stories that they've told us, from the beginning. We absolutely believe anybody that we've talked, we might have heard a story or two. We really started binging, listening to YouTube channels after we met Greg. Yeah. And, there might have been one or two or like, but no, majority of everything seems very detailed and probably very, accurate according to what they can remember. But speaking further to those people on a more personal level, no, it's exactly as it was in the beginning.
Hillary.
Look,
it's the cult of the Squatch.
After 12:30 a.m., everybody throws a robe on the ground.
Yeah. Then we're just naked chanting and zip lining. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, don't even start with the zip lining.
Oh my God. There was one time when we camp, we primitive camp, and one time we went to this campground, and it was a Friday night, and then like very late at night into the very early morning, this group, I'm like, are they doing a seance over there? What's going on? They had one of these carnival tent like shaped things, and it was a group of like probably at least 8 people. It was trippy. It was so weird. But at the same campground, we would go there, I don't know, 10 weekends in the summer, like something like that.
Something like that.
And we loved it there. And we would usually go to 1 or 2 particular sites each time if we could get it. Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just, I don't want to involve, for anybody that sees the YouTube show of this, I don't want to involve chat that much. But hold on one second. It's my show. I can do it anyway. Neoma, I read and I understand. We don't care. We love you being there. Come there for everybody. It doesn't matter if you can get out and do research. If you can't get around, it doesn't matter. just come hang out, y'all.
Oh,
Absolutely.
we love it.
And
Now, look, Naomi, all I can tell you, the only thing we kind of expect out of you is sit around and tell a story around a campfire.
that's exactly right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
Great storyteller.
You're doing your part right there. Cam comes to the damn meet and greets and won't go out with anybody and do the calls or the ride arounds. Cam comes and talks to everybody, and then Cam goes to sleep. Don't you feel bad, Neoma?
Yeah, look, we just love for people whether they choose to participate in going out or if they want to hang out at camp.
Yeah.
Walk from campsite to campsite, come up to the main area, whatever. Do your thing and be a part as much as you want to. I mean, it's just, but if people's never been, it's hard to put it. It's kind of like saying a booger. It's hard to put it in words and make it really express what it's like.
Well, from what I've learned, a lot of people have experiences and they want to keep I want to research this. I want to go out and see it. But there's also people that have had experiences that don't want any, maybe they don't want to go out and see this again, but they're willing to go in and listen to other people's experiences. So
you would be amazed at how many people will email or private message on Facebook, or how many people will show up at a meet and greet. And I assume that they do the same thing at conferences. They never raise their hand. They never speak to anybody. They never say boo, but they've had really impressive stuff. And the people that will email doing a YouTube show is kind of eye-opening, because the people that will reach out and say, this is what I've experienced, but I don't want to talk about it publicly, and I don't want you to say anything about it. I just need somebody to talk to. Hey, I'm completely there for that. That is part of what we do. If they don't feel comfortable coming forward, but they just want to have somebody to talk to, I totally understand that. I wish that everybody out there would understand that there's a big section of people that have had experiences and they don't feel comfortable being out in public in the Bigfoot world, but they're watching, they're paying attention. They want to talk to people, but sometimes it's hard for them to bring themselves to do it or whatnot, man. And I would also say some of the stuff that we get access to from doing stuff like this, just being blunt, I've talked to people personally. I talk to most everybody on the phone. If people email and they're like, hey, I'd like to talk about this, I give them my phone number and then I talk to them. If they want to talk to somebody else, I pass the information on to Greg or other people or whoever. But man, it's overwhelming the amount of people that don't go public that have had really, really, really impressive stuff.
Spencer, think about this, Spencer. Think about how hard it was for us to get Katie G to finally talk with us and especially share with everybody else. And that's still, I mean, Katie's got a special place right here in my heart. And that was a great to the meet and greet. That was like Christmas. Katie showing up.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of her for coming because I know what that took for her to show up.
That was a fantastic show with her on there. And you could tell by her emotions that, she was really letting it out and really.
Well, Al, Big Al, Greg's friend, he had just gone through something a few months before that, and he just didn't want to talk about it. I mean, it shook him up a little bit. And he saw Katie, and he told Greg, he's like, if Katie can do it, I'm willing to go on there. And he was impressed as hell with Katie
exactly
and saying her part. And again, if you can give somebody, so I guess going back to my original thing about the conferences, the meet and greets, the way that we do a YouTube show, I'm not patting us on the back or anything, but we try to provide an outlet for these people, that are a little bit reluctant or whatnot. We try to give them a space to say something, just like y'all. I don't want you to think that just because you've not had a super major impressive Bigfoot experience, still, you're part of the family. You're part of the group. And I want everybody to be treated equally and feel at home and feel comfortable. So, getting on from that, Chad, you had the dream thing that, or sleep paralysis, whatever it
Whatever it
was.
was.
You've had that thing. Erica, you've had a couple little weird experiences too that you've talked about. I don't think there's probably not anybody on our show that hasn't seen y'all, but just to make it clear, let's go over from the beginning. Do you have any reason to think, either one of y'all, do you have any reason to think that you're a little bit more sensitive, psychic, empathic, gifted, any unusual experiences? Of course, you have about near death, but any experiences that would shock your psyche or make you view the world in a different way? Anything like that? Let's start from there.
Well, I did have a near-death experience, which I talked about on a previous show. But what amazes me is talking through the whole groups and everybody kind of sharing their experiences. They're kind of out of the box experiences too, like Greg and being struck by lightning, and to me, it's all about finding the patterns and finding the common ground, what could be an extra something that makes us more, I don't know what the word would be, but not susceptible, but open to, perceptive is a great word. Because once you hear, it's so rare. I never knew anybody before Greg, that had been struck by lightning. Definitely not people who have been struck by lightning twice.
I would just like to edit that part right there and say nobody's ever known anybody like Greg, but carry on. we know what you mean.
But then the more we talked about it, I also had nearly drowned when I was a kid. Well, that's another thing that people were talking about. And I love to discover those things, what we have in common, what could be set us apart, if you want to say. But not ever having an experience. And especially in my late teens and early 20s, I spent a lot of time hiking in Middle Tennessee, a lot, like every single weekend. And nothing, to this day, nothing stands out that could have been something else. But like Chad said, I was always paying attention to the trail and any guides along the way, nothing ever, and I would stop and take pictures even back then, but nothing stood out that it could have been anything scary or intimidating or out of the ordinary. But when I was a kid, the only thing that stands out to me was I know my brother and I were outside, and it was a Saturday morning, and something flew very low in our backyard, very low. And we weren't too far from our little community kind of airport thing, but it was not an airplane. And I don't remember any details other than it was very low. And I feel like it was more circular-ish, but I was so young. I might have been 6 at the most. But that's the only thing that ever stuck out that could have been something extra. Other than when I was saying when we were camping, that little weird seance thing was going on. But at a different campsite a couple of weeks later, we were in our tent, and a light was outside of the tent. So it was probably like a 4-inch diameter light outside of the tent, but it didn't shine through the tent. And to me, that was really weird at the time. And to me now, looking back at it, I'm still like, I still don't know what that was. But those were the only two things that really stuck out to me of otherworldly things, maybe.
I think since we've gotten into all this, I've become more aware when we go hiking or when we, there's an old thing about we spend too much time looking down and not enough time looking up. Whether to the sky and see things we never see, or just straight ahead in the woods and looking around. Most people, when they hike, they're looking at the trail. They're looking straight at them because like when I was hiking, it was to either lose weight or just be healthier. But now I stop every once in a while and I just take a look at the surroundings and what's around me, and have I heard anything? Do I see any odd things? That's kind of where we're at right now since we've met these groups, and I like that because it lets me experience the woods more. It lets me be more into nature because I'm looking at the trees, I'm looking at all the fauna, I'm looking at all of that. And if I see something peeking out behind a tree sometime, besides crapping my pants, I'm going to be really, wow, I saw it. That's cool, But right now, it's that hasn't happened, and I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to keep just experiencing life and enjoying what I do. So I think, our minds are open more, and if we see something, we see something.
Sean, right there's the email. Want to hear from you, pretty please.
Yeah.
Hey, well, also, I mean, first of all, number one, I think a lot of people get to a point. If you notice, a lot of people in the Bigfoot world are in their like 30s, 40s, 50s. You get to a point in life where you're looking for a little something else, something that's more interesting or dynamic than the day-to-day going to work and paying your bills and stuff like that. And I think it's a combination of interest in the subject, but also, like what you said, being made aware of, hey, there might be something out there, and it gives you something extra to pay attention to look at, to focus on while you're doing stuff like hiking or anything like that. And it's nothing but a good thing. It's nothing but positive, whether you actually have an experience or not. It's still good to be aware of your surroundings, to think about this kind of stuff, to keep an open mind. I mean, the whole open mind aspect, you could talk about that for forever and a day. Just starting to pay attention to what other people are saying and widen your point of view and your consciousness and the way that you approach the world and everything. There's a lot to be learned from this, even if you've never had a personal experience in it. And definitely the camaraderie and the people that you meet, that is on my list. That is top. That is the number one thing. I don't care about boogers. I know that boogers exist. I've seen the stuff. I've been there. I've never laid eyes on one directly, and be able to see one walk and move and be like 100%, that's a booger. I've seen stuff with thermals. I've seen stuff from far away. I've seen all the evidence. But the way it's impacted my life the most is just meeting people that I now consider family. And I would have never met them if I didn't open myself up to this kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Yep. I agree with that. We've made, what I consider very, very good friends from this. And, I've heard everybody's experiences, and I may never have one, and I don't care.
Yeah.
But, that would be, I guess maybe a plus if I have an experience, or it could be a negative depending on the experience. But to meet the people that we've met, and it seems to be that all of us are very like-minded individuals. We all have the same common interest, which is really good too. But you know, I love it. I love all these groups.
Yep.
I don't know. Greg, say something.
I'm just sitting there soaking it in. I mean, seriously, I mean, I agree with everything that everybody's saying, and that's what. And like I said, for me, it's just that's. I mean, I've had you know, so much happen to me with boogers, and I'm out there trying to meet the people. The reason I'm at the meet and greets is I'm there for to meet the people that's there. I mean, I love talking to people. I love sharing with them. You know, I went a long time. I wouldn't talk about it because of the ridicule, and I was worried what people would think. And then, you know, I got to the point of kind of like, well, you know, me being quiet about it's not helping anybody. And I knew there had to be people out there that was in the same thing I was. Is they had these encounters and they didn't have anybody to talk to. And you know, once I had Bill White reached out to me, and then he's the one that hooked me up with Coonbo. So I was like, I got like the damn cheat code, like on a video game to go to the front of the line. You know, I felt like I had the all-star pass at Disney World. You know, you go to the front up here, and you know, I just got blessed and luck of the draw, or what you want to call it. You know, I got through into, you know, an all-star lineup of Bigfoot researchers, and you know, I realized that you know, by me finally talking about it, what it evolved into as far as helping me. And, you know, for me being, you know, rescue squad, fire department, law enforcement for years and years, that, you know, I've dedicated a lot of my life to helping other people big time, hours and thousands of dollars. And I realized that there was a whole different group of people that I may be able to actually help, that I had the inside track that a lot of people didn't have. And I got to feeling like, you know, that really I was kind of ashamed that I hadn't shared with people. And that kind of put the fear of ridicule and all that, the bull crap, it kind of shoved that in the back. You know, the spotlight was refocused on, you know, if I can't help but just a couple of people, those people still need help. So, you know, if I got to put my neck on the chopping block, I'm going to help them. And, you know, I think I have. I mean, I know I've had a few people that tell me, you know, that I was the reason that they came out and started talking. You know, that's overwhelming because, you know, that's what I was doing it for anyway. And to see that fruit develop, that it was for a good reason. I mean, that means yeah, but I mean, that means a lot to me that you know, that people, maybe something that I did, that it actually worked and it, you know, empowered them or just lifted them up to talk. And, you know, well, take like Yarrington, y'all. I mean, he's all the time, and it kind of, you know, it just, man, it about breaks me down when he's always talking about that I'm the reason he came out. And look at Jeff go now. I mean, he,
Absolutely.
They got him a dang good podcast. Look at that.
Well, if it's not Bama, hey Bama.
I'm telling you, the man himself. Where's Moose at?
I don't know what he's doing. Bama, you're live.
Hey, what I want to say real quick
Man,
is
I cannot get
what a lot of these.
I can't get the sound to work on my phone here. So
what these
let me
shows
jump
have
off here a
become,
second. I'll come back. Okay.
All right.
what these shows have become, to me, is like a psychiatrist or a psychologist, somewhere where people can express their emotions and other people, like, you know, we can listen to people's experiences, and all I can do is give, you know, I guess advice, because I don't have the experience. But, you know, someone like Greg or even Spencer or Kumbo or Jerry, Jeff, all those guys, you know, they've all experienced, and David, it's good to talk to these people, and they listen, and they give good feedback, and they're not tearing you down, and they're not, you know, oh, that's not what you saw. You know, they're like, you know, well, what color was the fur? What color was this? What was the eyes? Did you see a face? And I think to a lot of people, that's a huge deal for them to be able to open up to people that understand what they've experienced and not ridicule them.
Mhm.
And I think, since we've been in this, I've seen 4 or 5 podcasts start up from different people about similar items. And I love that. The more the merrier. I think it's the more people can get on somewhere and talk about their experience, the more they're going to be comfortable talking somewhere else with somebody else. And that's a good deal.
The cool thing about kind of what's going on with this group is it's not just the quantity of people, it's the quality and the quantity of people.
Yeah.
As far as just overwhelmingly good people. I mean, this group doesn't, not just the fact that we wouldn't put up with the bickering and the griping and like the whole like 1985 WWE arguments and the drama. It's, but here's the deal. Not that we wouldn't put up with it, but we don't have people in here that's even trying to start it. And
Right.
That's the great part.
Yeah, it's funny because everybody has moderators, and some have a lot of moderators, but I don't think any of the moderators, besides maybe Mark and Becca, they had an issue with somebody jumping in their chat and saying a bunch of bullshit that we all know, like, why is this person here? But they were eventually able to shut them down. That's not something normal that happens here. That was something rare.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, the thing of it is, we got moderators. It's like super moderators. I mean, we got Gary Spikes. It's like having Thor out there holding his hand up.
That's the king moderator right there.
We got Diane. Wendell is the Bigfoot police. Wendell will wipe them up real quick.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, like, we got like Sharon and Bobby and I mean, we got great moderators. But even though we got great moderators, we don't get a lot of stuff that they've got to moderate.
Right.
It's
and that's fantastic. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, like attracts like. We've all got the same kind of people. Bama, can you hear us?
Woodwalkers to Bama.
Oh, Bama, are you there? Nope.
I cannot, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with it.
Okay, well, you can just answer in comments then. We'll get you on here on a different show. I wanted to have your input coming in from the outside, and now you're froze up.
Yeah.
Okay, Bama, no offense. I'm gonna remove you. You're wait, now you're not froze up.
Can you hear us? It's like a Verizon commercial. How about you Bluetooth into something?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could watch y'all on the TV, but there's such a delay with the audio.
Is your phone got the Bluetooth turned on?
But yeah, I think you were saying you were wanting to have some of us on later, Spencer, and that'll be really cool.
Okay, well, I'll
jump back off here.
Okay.
Say, brother.
I've tried all that, Greg. But anyway, Chad, Erica, it's good to see y'all.
You too,
Good to
Bama.
see you,
And I'll check y'all there. I'll jump back in the chat. Love everybody.
Love you.
Love you. I just wanted to say, I have something in the works that I don't talk much about. This is very personal, but we haven't had, an experience that we've talked about, but I've had a different situation happen in my life about 10 years ago that I didn't talk about. And I'm working on talking about it. That's all I'm going to say about that. But it's crazy how much I can relate to people telling their stories about Bigfoot encounters, and their emotions that they felt and the not talking about it. I can relate to that.
Yes.
Totally. And it's very helpful to me because my goal is to help people talk about things that they've chosen not to talk about. So I definitely appreciate that about these groups.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
We don't even care if somebody wants to get on here and talk about their experiences at band camp. Well, we'll listen.
Mhm.
Oh, we would definitely listen.
Open arms, you betcha. Come on in. What did you do at band camp?
You got to
We
start
were-
it off with this one time.
Yeah, we were up to a trombone the other night, but
Oh
anyway.
boy.
Oh yeah, that's a different subject. Anyway, damn, I wanted Bama to come on just because Bama and I got into the whole thing at roughly the same time. I was there a little bit before him, but Bama was the first person I met on the second going out. And I don't know if it was the second one or the third one. I forget, where I've got the recording of him going, "What in the F is that?" whenever the vocal started coming back in. And Bama was a cop for most of his life. And just to see him, the point being about Bama, to see somebody from the outside that didn't know anything about it, much like me. But I mean, Bama's got credentials. I mean, he was law enforcement like Greg. And to see somebody like that, go into it and start going, holy shit. And, and then Bama, now he's one of us. I mean, he goes out all the time. He looks for the things. He's had experiences. I mean, so it's.
Don't you find it interesting, though, the amount of former police, firefighters that I've seen?
I was talking to a former sheriff's deputy today. Yesterday. I'm not going to say his name. I've been talking to him for a week now. And something else that we do that I think a lot of people don't really understand is I was talking to him, and he's down in Mississippi. And I said, well, let me put you in touch with a couple people that are down there in your neck of the woods. And one of the guys was somebody that I started talking to a few weeks ago, and I put him in touch with other people. And the one guy had been going out with someone else that I was like, man, y'all are going to get hurt doing that. Stop that kind of bullshit. You have to understand we come from this from a very realistic point of view, and these things are not Harry and the Hendersons. They're not your friendly forest creatures. I mean, they might not rip your head off, but I don't think that they're super happy about seeing people. And I was telling this guy, hey, you got to have a little bit more head on your shoulders doing this. Don't go out with this person or that person if this is what they're telling you to do. And I don't want to bring it up. But anyway, I'm putting people in touch with each other, and they're like, hey, we're going to get together. And we're going to go out and look at some of these areas where this one guy who I put him in touch with says, there might be something there. And nothing make me happier than, hey, they're going to form their own little group or whatever and start getting some real experience on their own. For too long, the Bigfoot world has been divided with a bunch of people saying, I know all the secrets, and I'm not going to share it with anybody unless you listen to me, and all of this kind of crap. And if we do nothing but accomplish putting people in touch with each other and making everybody, I don't mean in touch with each other in a certain nasty way, but if it happened like that, I'd be okay with that too, but I don't care. But anyway, you know what I mean? We're putting people in contact with each other and giving them access to other people in their area. And personally, I think that's a great thing.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, like right now in Middle Tennessee, we know we've got Roger in Southern Middle Tennessee. We're Northern Middle Tennessee, but we're learning more people around us. Most seem to be in Eastern Tennessee, but
Yeah.
it's just, and we live near Big South Fork, which I believe turns into Daniel Boone. The more north you go, but it's that whole thing right there. So, we're hoping one of these days we can find somebody down in this area that was like, let's go on a hike. Let's go off trail. Let's take that. Let's go looking. Let's go hunt.
Daniel Boone is a very active area at certain times of the year. I would say to everybody, and I could get you 20 people that would back me up on this. Be careful at Daniel Boone. Be careful. Be careful at the southern half of Daniel Boone. No, it's like Kumbo says, if you're going into an area, turn that truck around, be ready to get out of there. Don't get too far away from the vehicle. I'm not saying that you shouldn't camp there or anything. Plenty of people do and nothing happens. If you go in and you stir stuff up, everybody needs to understand. If you go out and you start doing knocks, calls, God bless, not talking about other stuff that brings these things in. But if you get there at the right time and you do something that has these things coming in, I'm telling you now, anybody in YouTube land, you can think what you want. I don't care. There are certain spots of the country, southern part of Daniel Boone being one of them. You better know what you're doing, and you better be prepared, and you better be ready to get your ass out of there. It is not a game in certain areas. You do not handle this haphazardly. I just, since you brought up Daniel Boone, I feel the need to say that.
Yeah, the thing that worries me for people, y'all, is, I'm look, I'm no expert. I've had a lot of encounters, and I tell people that every answer that I think I figured out caused 10 more questions, possibly 20. But for me, a no-go. Now, look, if 5 or 6 people wanted to go somewhere that there was some activity and they wanted to go camping, and, I get my leg healed back up where I can get around really good, they want to just go camping. Hey, look, we're going to pretend we're just hikers. We're going to go to the woods. We're going to go fishing. We're going to go camping, something like that. That's not that big a deal. But as far as going out there to actually provoke a response from these things, you count me out unless there's a vehicle sitting right there, because I've been cut off from the vehicle with these things before. You talk about a slow sinking feeling when you realize that your only way the hell out there is got a booger between you and it. Shit gets real fast.
I bet.
The only time I've ever had that feeling, I went to a spot that Eric Tipton had pointed out on a map in my area when I first got in this. And I went up there and looked at it, and I started finding structure. And then a month later, going up there every week. A month later, I started finding tracks and more structure, new structure. Like, it was like the stuff had just been made, right? I was like, holy crap. And I'm taking pictures. I'm texting Eric and probably Kane. I can't quite remember. And I was going out in there. I mean, like 1.5 miles or so, way out in there. And I was going by myself, because here I am, somebody that grew up like teaching other people how to do wilderness survival and all of this kind of stuff. I've been doing it all my life. I'm not scared to walk out in the woods, And there was one time after, I don't know, 2-3 months, I started doing what everybody said not to do, putting the peanut butter out. And the peanut butter jars would be gone, but I never found them. So I was like, well, a critter run off with them, because I didn't find anything right there where I was setting the peanut butter out. But I kept finding all this stuff in the surrounding area. Then I got back to my truck one night, never done a call in my life. I'd seen people do it for the past 2 years, 3 years, something like that. Never done a call in my life. It was right at sunset. I got to my truck, which was on the edge of the road, but this was an old hunting road that was blocked off most of the year. And it's way up in there. So I'm driving way up in there, and then I'm walking way up in there. But I got back to my truck, and I heard what sounded like an owl, but it didn't sound right. So I didn't really do a call. I did a loud whoop. WHOOP, whoop.
There it is.
Whenever I did, there was a knock over here And then about 2 seconds later, there was 2 knocks over here. And then a tree got pushed down. And you could hear it. It was the atypical green tree, pow, and falls down. And the only thing that went through my head was all these stories I've heard from big name people for years going like, hey, they'll push trees down in the road to prevent you from getting out there. That's the only thing I could think about. And let me tell you something. My tiny ass couldn't get in that truck quick enough. And I was like, I ain't got a chain. I ain't got a chainsaw. And I went flying down that road. And there was not a tree pushed over in the road. But between that and getting zapped, going out well, I think I got zapped. I shouldn't say it that way. But getting disoriented and going, what the hell is going on? I couldn't think straight, didn't know where I was, and I ran down and finally made it out. But between those two things, I won't go out alone anymore because it bothered me. I mean, it scared me to a degree. It bothered me. You should not treat these things lightly.
So Spencer, let me ask you a question. I know you live, I've seen your view from your back porch. Do you have a problem going down to the end of your property by yourself or?
No.
Okay. Just curious.
No, I only get the shakes whenever I go in areas that I've been before and I know that they're there. If it's a new area, for some reason in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I still go armed, but
Hey, whatever happened with that tree stand?
the tree
Still
stand.
there? Wasn't there a tree stand behind you?
Yeah, somebody was looking at a tree stand facing your property.
Oh, a structure. It wasn't a tree stand. It was on
okay.
the ground. It was on the ground. Wow, how do y'all know about that? That was years ago. Did I talk about that recently?
No, probably not recently. Like I said,
when they were binge watching.
Yeah.
I took a video of that, and what happened was there's somebody else's property that is connected to my property that goes to a hunt club. So I went to go to the hunt club through my property, and I ended up coming back through their property because it was a more straight route getting to my house. And whenever I was walking back, I looked over and saw what looked like a big blind. Now, whenever I say a big blind, you can't tell it from the video, but this thing was probably 10 foot wide by 7-8 foot high, and it was comprised of a sapling being bent over this way and a sapling being bent over this way, and then a sapling being bent back over holding that down, and another one, and then those were pinned down, and there were branches around it. And whenever I saw it, my first thought from 30 yards away was that it was, maybe a hunter had made it. But then I got up there and looked at it, and the saplings were big, and they were pinned down with logs, and just struck me as a booger. Hold on, looky there. And
what?
Whenever I was in the structure, whenever I stood behind the structure, I was looking at it and looking at how it was made. And I looked up and I said, holy shit, right there is the side of my house that my main deck comes out on, looking at my house. Then I went to the front of my house on the other people's land and found the same structure, except for it was smaller. It was smaller on the other side. So I had one looking at the side of my house where my deck comes out, and one looking at the front of my house where the deck wraps around, and the other door is that you can come out we don't use. But the moral of the story is they're still there, but they have dilapidated, at least the last time I checked them, which was about a year ago. So
Okay.
Is it boogers? I think that it probably was, but I don't know that for a fact. Billy, what are you doing?
I don't know. I got a delay.
Hey, Brother Billy.
Hey, Erica. I got a delay. I don't know what's going on with it.
Well, we can hear you fine.
Hey, Greg, I want to compliment your shirt.
Yeah, my beard's covering it up.
Yeah, same here. Mine says amosexual. So it's
There
like
you go. There you
Hey.
go. Billy, how's things up there in Virginia?
Pretty day today, man. Everything's good. Just
Yeah.
late getting here.
Good
Been
deal.
running this morning.
Well, we're glad to see you, brother.
Yes.
I'm glad to be here.
Hey.
Everybody over there healthy and holding their own?
Pretty much. They starting to like round 3 of this bronchitis, sinuses,
Yeah.
all that junk again.
Mm,
Man.
wow.
I don't know.
Billy.
It just goes on and on and on.
The reason I wanted you on here, like Bama, you're from the outside. You came in the past couple years, like Chad and Erica.
Yeah.
What do you think about? I mean, and you're more skeptical than a lot of people, even though you've had stuff happen right there on your own land. Billy takes a lot of convincing, y'all. But what do you think about just coming in from the outside, not knowing anybody in the Bigfoot world, and then meeting people and going to meet and greets and everything? What's your overall impression of like how you feel about it and what this has done for you, and what do you think it would be like for other people?
Well, actually, I'm kind of old now. I'm soon to be 65 years old, and all my friends have gone on. I don't really have the people to hang out with and run with like I used to. And I got invited to come to LBL last April. And, I met everybody there. I have never met such a good group of people in my life. I've been to big parties and been to big things, big camp outs, bonfires, cookouts, keg parties, you name it. I've been there. It always ends in some kind of drama going on, bunch of junk, you fight your way out, whatever. But this bunch, it was just an entirely different show, I've never seen so many people from so many different areas and so many different places. Guys that's got the money to fly in on a float plane,
Right.
Big $100,000 campers coming in. Winnebago, well, when the Winnebago was actually Mercedes campers, and here I am, just old hillbilly from up here in the woods in Virginia. I come riding in a piece of junk truck, didn't know if it would even make it. Nobody judged me,
Shoot, brother, you're a rock star of the group. I'm just gonna tell you.
You are. Hell yeah, Billy.
Yeah,
Well,
we were blessed to meet Billy early on.
Yeah, y'all. I don't know. I recognize Chad and Spencer. He gets a little long-winded sometime, and he's up here directing the giveaway and all that. And he just went on and on and on. I said, well, I'm going over and speak to those folks because I know that guy, that old bald-headed fellow wearing the bibs. I know who he is. And I went over there and got to talking, and man, we just had a big time. Hey, Sherry. We just had a big time, and but every place that I've been, even though some of the people may differ, they've all been really good people, really open to new people and open to me, and I don't look like a whole lot of people, and I'm just another white guy with a beard, and folks don't tend to take to people looks like me real well. But all these folks did. And, I've been to Hollins, same thing in Hollins as it was in LBL. Just really good folks that I've grown to call more friends, more family than friends. Some of you guys I talk to every single day. We got all that snow. I got more phone calls from Alabama than I did from right here at home to make sure we were all right.
That's awesome.
And it is awesome. It is awesome, Greg, and he had me come and hang out with him over at the man cave, treated me like I was Donald Trump walking in there, you know. Yes, sir. He was good to me, you know. Greg was good to me, and it's just been a great experience. I'll put it that way. And you're right, Spencer. I am skeptical. I don't believe nothing I hear, and only half of what I see.
Right.
And Hollins turned me from believer to knower. I'll put it that way.
Well, don't you think sometimes it happens that way, even without laying eyes on them? You might not get a good look at one, but just the stuff that's going on, you think about it in your head, and you're like, "There's no way that was definitely something, one of them."
Well, the thing about it though, Spencer, sometimes you can absolutely see one and you'll second guess yourself because you're trying to explain it away. And
it's like I told Roger, you know, I can't tell you what I saw, but I can tell you what it wasn't.
yeah,
Right.
And I have but one thing to think that it possibly was.
Right.
And it was the thing I actually had no idea I would ever even see.
yeah.
You know, it was
And
just
you didn't see it from a long way off either, did you?
about 15 yards.
Wow.
Hey, Miss
Yeah.
B.
About 15 yards.
Miss B.
Hey, Miss B.
Yeah, the grand scheme of things, 75 feet ain't very far.
No.
I was about 15 yards, which, you know, it was plenty close enough for.
Well, that'd be 45 feet.
Exactly.
45.
Plenty close enough for something bad happened real quick.
I had a mental breakdown. I was going back to Abby's Common Core math, but yeah, 45 feet.
I thought you went to high school in Alabama, brother.
Well, I did. Hey, I graduated third grade 3 times.
You said 75 feet. I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, did I say that right?
No, I was saying 25 yards, but you said 15 yards.
15 yards, about 15 yards.
Yeah, I don't know why I registered 25 yards or 25 yards instead of 15 yards. Man, but Billy, like when you first saw the thing, what was it doing when you saw it? I mean, you want to talk about it?
I will on this show. I don't talk about it nowhere else. It was a Woodwalkers function and a Cedar Creek Bottoms function, and I have a loyalty to them because again, they're my family.
Don't get choked up now.
I love it, Billy. I love it, brother. I love it.
Yeah. Look, I mean, that's
my
my
family. I'll talk about it on the off show if you want me to.
Well, no, brother, that's up to you. You just what makes you feel comfortable. You know, this is a safe space, but if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. You don't.
Shut up, Greg. Yes, we want you to talk about it. Yes.
I don't care what folks thinks about it. I don't care. Don't make no difference to me. I'm 65 years old. I say what I want to say when I want to say it.
Boy, that's right, Billy. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll answer anything. I don't really want to speak the names of the folks that was with me because
that's smart.
You know.
Yeah.
But I did have 2 witnesses with me. I did have 2 people. I don't know what the third person saw, but I know what the first person that got there with me, she seen it.
Yeah.
But I was the first one. I walked on up. We were walking up that. I guess it's all right to say we were going to the green field.
Yeah.
And we were just about to the green field, and we seen some deer first. Then we went on up a little ways farther, and I think they were coyotes. We seen a group of coyotes, I think is what it was, kind of following down behind the deer. And while they were looking at those, I just walked on up about 30 yards, and all of a sudden I hit it with a flashlight. I'm trying to say, is that a root ball? A bullet? What am I seeing? And I kept looking at it, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, man. I never seen nothing like that. And the second person she walked up with beside of me, you don't mind, Sherry? And Sherry saying, tell it all. I was with Sherry and Donna, and it was right late at night. We didn't start walking, I guess, probably 1:30 in the morning. And we'd seen what we thought were deer, and then we went on a little farther, saw what we thought was coyotes. And I walked on, I left them standing there. They were looking at the coyotes. And I walked on up, I don't know, 30 yards from them and hit the side. I heard something, and I hit the side of the old 2-track up through there with my flashlight. And at first I thought it was a root ball where a tree had blown over. And the more I looked at it, I could see it was kind of a reddish, I call it a liver color, like a Brittany Spaniel's head. Anybody's familiar with Brittany Spaniel? And it was just sitting there. It was like it had its back turned to me. It was just sitting there. And I never seen it move at this point. Sherry come walking up beside of me, and I said, are you seeing that? And she started saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And she was taking pictures. And Donna came walking up out of the dark, and I didn't know where she went, where she came from. And I whistled. Well, about the time I whistled, she smacked me in the back. She said, you're not supposed to whistle. And I looked back at that animal, and when I whistled, its head bobbed up and went back down. That's the first time I knew that it was something living and breathing. Yeah. It never looked at us.
Wow.
And I kept saying, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? And she was saying, oh my God, oh my God. She said it about 10 times. Every time before she'd take a picture, she'd say, oh my God. And, it was, but I never felt any fear from it. And I was really surprised at that, because it was a pretty unexpected, or lack of a better word, it was a very unexpected sight. And I never thought about I was going to walk up and see what I have no other choice to call but a booger. I don't have any idea what else you could call it but a booger.
Wow.
Donna, when she seen what we were looking at, she turned her light up and hit it. And a lot of people may not believe some of this. I don't really care. But she shined the booger with her light. And when she did, it almost instantly looked to me like I could see its outline, and it looked like leaves. I couldn't see the color of the animal no more. It looked like leaves, and they looked like they shimmered with like a breeze blowing through leaves in a bush. There was no breeze. And that's the last thing, honestly, I remember until I woke up the next morning. And that's a strange thing. It took over.
That's all right, brother. Just take your time.
It took over 2 months of thinking about this thing every day. And then one day I was talking to Spencer, and Spencer said, I said something about, I don't know what, I haven't talked to Sherry, haven't talked to Donna. I said, I don't know what they saw. I know what I think I saw. Spencer said, well, I've talked to Donna, and she's pretty much told me the exact same story you've told me. And that made me feel better. Then I got to thinking, how did we get back? I don't remember leaving. And I called Donna, and I said, Donna, what made us, not Donna, I called Sherry. I said, what made us decide to leave? Who said, let's go? She said, I don't know.
Wow.
And I said, you don't remember us leaving? She said, no. I said, well, when we left, I said, did we run? Did we walk down the hill? You know, that's probably, I'm guess 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
I said, did we run down the hill? I don't know. She said she didn't know either. I said, well, what do you remember? She said, I remember when we got back to our camper. She said, you just kept walking. And I said, did I say anything? She said, I said, are you going back to your camper? And I said, well, to be honest with you, she said, I said, I'm tired and I'm going to bed. That's what she said. I said, I said, I didn't say anything like, see you girls later. Wasn't that awesome? Wasn't that crazy? Nothing. She said, you said, I'm tired and I'm going to bed. And she said,
Yeah.
I just kept walking on off into the dark. The next thing I remembered, I woke up in the morning. From the time that I was up there seeing this thing,
Yes.
I don't remember one thing about it until the next morning when I crawled out of my truck.
Hold on. Let me add a little bit of perspective here. Maybe Billy doesn't, because maybe Billy doesn't know this, but this is from 15 people's point of view that walked up there, going up to where we got to, and then coming back.
Yeah.
At the very last end of it, the time period that he's talking about, where he and Sherry and Donna saw whatever they saw, they were a little bit ahead of the group of us behind them, because there were a couple of people that were going up there to camp out, and I didn't know they were going to camp out. There was a couple of youngins.
Yeah.
There was a couple of youngins that showed up at the meet and greet that we didn't know who they were. Glad to meet them. And then they were like, hey, we're going to go up here. It's public land. It's not like you can stop them. They're like, hey, we're going to go up here and camp out. So a lot of us went. I don't know how many it was. 12, maybe. Let's call it 12. All of us together that went up there, walking them boys up to the second green field where they were going to camp out. Billy was walking in front of us on the way back. In fact, he kept sitting down because he was having to wait on us to catch up to him. Whenever somebody said that there was a certain thing that those youngins were planning on doing, along with another guy that went with them, I was like, hell no, because they're going to get their ass in trouble. And we stopped and were yelling, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. That's a big mistake. Billy and Sherry and Donna were in front of us. And this is what I will tell you from an outside perspective. I didn't know any of this when it happened. But as we were coming down the hill, caught up with Sherry and Donna, I said, where's Billy? Because Billy was actually out in front. They said, we don't know. Well, hell, Billy took off and beat us to camp. Halfway down that trail, probably, I don't know, had to have been a quarter of a mile's worth, if not half of a mile's worth. Beat us back to camp. When we got there, Billy was sitting over there, just sitting, listening to other people talk. He wasn't saying anything. And we came back and I said, Bill, where you been? And Bill said, well, I got back here. And then Sherry and Donna came up and said, hey, something or another. And Billy literally got up and said, well, I reckon I'm going to bed. And that's what happened. I don't know if he got Zach. He saw something. Him and Sherry Donna saw something that I didn't see. But I can testify to the fact that Billy disappeared and beat us all there. And then Billy just got up and went to bed whenever we all got back.
That, Spencer, that was, I'm trying to remember which night it was, but I remember Billy walking back through, if that was the night that I'm thinking.
It was Saturday night.
Well, when those boys was going up there and all y'all went up there with them, so maybe they wouldn't get killed. Yeah, Billy come back by and he walked by and he spoke to us for just a minute. And next thing I knew, he was gone. And yeah. But yeah, that's That's what I try to tell people. This, whether they zapped you, whether whatever happened, sometimes whether they zapped you or not, it could have been an absolute adrenaline dump. It could have been just a sensory overload,
That's
and it
because
just kind of sorts you out.
at our camp.
I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It was more like I don't know. I wonder was that getting zapped? I don't know. I still to this day do not remember anything past the thing looking like leaves, like it cloaked.
Because
Some
Misty
people
went
believe
with
it.
us. Misty went with us. She said we couldn't find him for the last part because we were coming down there looking for you. So this is.
Ashby went up there with y'all too, didn't he?
I don't think. Did he?
Yeah, because Ashby was worried about.
He was the first
He
one
was
that got
worried about them boys.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Remember Ashby? They didn't even have a flashlight that was much brighter than a damn birthday candle.
No. And
they were prepared to be there.
And they were leading, and I kept telling them, I was like, shut off the flashlight because we could see. But then we got to the end and they said, hey, we're going up here to camp. And I said, you're what? And they said, yeah, we're going up here to camp. I did not know that. And then as we started walking back, somebody mentioned, hey, one of the people that went with them had a certain instrument. And I was like, oh, hell no. No.
Oh, yeah, no.
I told him up there in the woods. I remember that part. I told him up there in the woods. I said, man, don't you pull that thing. Don't you pull that thing out of that bag because me and you going to have a problem. You do that while I'm in these woods.
Yeah.
And I felt kind of bad about it because I did kind of jump on him a little hard. But I really meant for him to understand that I would whoop his ass if he pulled that out in the middle of them woods.
Yeah.
You might have been the one that told me. And then
I was.
And then we stopped, and you and Sherry and Donna, maybe Misty too, kept going. I can't remember. There was a few of y'all that kept going. I started yelling, and everybody else with me stopped because I was yelling through the woods, do not do that. Do not do that. Then we got down a little bit further, and then you disappeared. You turned into Forrest Gump and took off on us, and we couldn't find you.
Ashby found me. I was right down. I was at the foot of the hollow. I didn't leave y'all. I was right down at the foot of the hollow. Ashby walked up. He was heading toward camp. And I said, where you going? He said, man, you scared the fire out of me. He said, you was over there in the woods in the dark. I said, I just found me a soft spot, was laying down resting, waiting on you. But I remember that part when Ashby came up. But yeah, it was
the thing about it to me with what people don't realize, and this is just a redneck analogy, but let's just say you're going camping. That's one level. You're going camping where there's boogers at. That's level 2. Or you're going camping where there's boogers and you're going to go in there and try to instigate them. The other analogy that goes along with that is going swimming in the ocean, then going swimming where the sharks are hanging out by the reef. Or the third one would be going swimming in the ocean at that reef with the sharks and carrying bottles of blood and squirting it in the water around you. That's about the 3 different analogies.
Well, the day that I pulled in there, I called Spencer. I said, I finally found it. I know where I'm at. I'm here at camp. He said, turn your recorder on. I said, recorder? I said, man, I ain't got no recorder. I said, I ain't down here looking for no boogers. I'm down here to see the people. Yeah. And that's what I was there for. My theology on it is just like your theology on it, Greg. I'm staying out of that mess. I don't want, I don't care if I never see another one.
Well, the thing about me, the creepiest thing that I saw, and I still, Billy, I still can't explain that to anybody, because where my camp was, I had my trailer, and then Misty and JR had their tent like at the end of my camper.
Yep.
Well, just as everybody Spencer was over there still giving stuff away. And I got up and walked over there to because this was early now, it was dark. But I walked back over to my camper to grab something to drink or something. And JR was standing there,
Yeah.
Alan was in my camper, and the door was actually shut. And me and JR standing there face to face. I mean, he could have reached out and poked me in the chest. We were that close. And as I'm talking to JR, the woods are black and it's thick, dark in there. And there's nothing. There's no road. There's no trail. The only road is going like to the right or to the left. And this is nothing. This is just woods. There's no reason anybody was there. And there was a light. It was like I'm looking at JR and just like right here over his shoulder in the woods. And there's no way it was over 50 feet. But it looked like a light bulb came on, and it looked small. It looked like it was about dime sized. And then all of a sudden, it was like you were twisting something open. And I watched this light, and it was like, I'm talking about like car tail light red. And I watched this little round circle look like a round light bulb. It just goes whoop, and it looked like it got this big. And
Right.
it wasn't a reflection of something. It was something like, it was just bright. And and Jared was talking, I said, whoa, 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 just be still, don't move, just hold still. And he's like, what? I said, dude, there is a light right there. And I'm sitting there looking at it, and the light didn't just go off. It stayed for probably 3 or 4 seconds, and it did the same thing in reverse. It just went whoop, flip, was gone. And about that time, I took a pretty bright light, and hit it. There was nothing. There was nothing there, nothing at all. And I can't explain that. I've never seen anything like it. Now, did I see an orb? Possibly, because it wasn't nothing reflecting. There was nobody there shining a light, but it looked like it was just like more like a car tail light, I guess. But there's no car in there. We wasn't seeing a tail light from way off because it was nothing but trees. But that thing, it was just like it just popped on, just blip, and it looked like it was about that big, and it just went and stayed that size for a little bit, and then shrunk right back down, and doop, was gone.
Wow.
My thinking is, did you see a blink?
I didn't. I know it wasn't like an eye blink or anything, but that's the way it done.
But you remember, there was a bunch of weird stuff happening. I mean, the whole time I was there.
Well, come to find out, Dale, like if you were standing looking at my camper, Misty and JR were on the right. Well, then about 40 or 50 feet to the left was where Mr. Dale Boswell and his wife was at. Come to find out, they had been seeing that same light over in that same spot I saw it. But I just saw it that one time.
Yep.
Hey, y'all, I don't know if I froze up or what happened, but my internet just went down. I'm doing this from my phone. I don't get hardly any service here. And if it crashes all the way on my end, we're all going to go out. So
Okay.
but we need to wrap this up, y'all. I don't know what's going on. My main internet is down and my phone doesn't have shit for signal. So
okay. Now, one thing, I want to just tell everybody, appreciate them coming on. Billy, brother, appreciate you talking about that. Chad, Erica, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Spencer, was you going? Well, you may not be able to post that link on DA's new book.
For DA's new book, and I can't. Greg, do you know the name of it? Because I can't look it up.
It's in his Dark Frontiers, the Demon of Palo Duro Canyon.
Yeah,
it come out today. It come out this morning. So look, anybody, y'all get on there if y'all go on there and download this book.
The link is in the description of this show, y'all. DA supports us. We support DA.
Yep.
DA has had our back on a lot of stuff. And y'all, if you're a DA Roberts fan, and also I would say if you're just, how sometimes your YouTube shows, there's certain days of the week and you're just looking for other stuff, you should absolutely read his books. He's a great author and you should absolutely read his books. But the link is in the description for this show. I think I probably made it one of the first comments on this show, but just check out A. Roberts on Amazon. What's it called?
Hold on. Demon of Palo Duro Canyon. Palo space Duro Canyon. Palo Duro Canyon. Guys, look, I mean, anybody that's got the Kindle Unlimited, it don't cost you anything. But now, if you don't, you can go on there and it looks like $7.99. I'm looking at it right now. You can download it, and ought to be a dang good read.
And if you're going to download books off of Amazon, download Southern Bigfoot Files from Bill White, Tal Branco. Download that, read that. But
yeah, that's got the encounters from where I live, and got Mark Green's got some encounters from him. Encounter some of my stuff in it. My dad's encounter, that's in that book that Spencer's talking about. Southern Bigfoot Files, Tal Branco, TALBRANCO.
And for everybody that wants to go to a meet and greet, we'll probably have one this fall, y'all. So plan on that. Anyway, Chad, Erica, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, if I can say one thing real quick before we go, I know most of the people in chat follow other podcasters. If you could do me a favor and just follow OLC, Old Line Cryptids, and come on for Beards and Boogers and watch that for fun, I'd appreciate it. I love it.
Right.
Go ahead, Greg.
No, go ahead. Look, definitely what Chad said, y'all go over and check him out. Don't forget, Squatch and Holler, Roger, Art, Rebecca, and y'all, Roger looked like was in chat a while ago, and he may have been messaging filled up on his pain meds, but y'all be thinking about him, Gary Spikes. Gary must be doing a lot better. And icing on the cake, since she ain't drug her butt in here with us today, she's playing hooky, got a bunch of stuff going on. Wednesday is Squirrel's birthday.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
All right. She's 29, right?
29 and holding.
And there's a bunch of people in all of our family, everybody that we know that need prayers, y'all. Just nice to everybody and reach out. I know Sandra is still in pain from her condition and everything. Like you said, Gary Spikes, he's doing better, but keep him in your prayers. He's still had a damn stent and major surgery and everything. Roger's got the bionic hip going on. Now, whenever Roger heals up 2 weeks from now, he'll be able to leap small buildings in a single bound. But until then, keep him in your thoughts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Billy is cantankerous and old, and Billy could die at any point. So keep praying.
Damn.
He's telling the truth. He's telling the truth, but all y'all might go before I do. You can't ever tell. Sometimes it pays to be cantankerous.
Is it Wendell's birthday today?
I love you, Billy. All right.
Yeah, I can tell.
Is it Wendell's birthday?
Stevie, hey, girl.
Go ahead.
Is today Wendell's birthday?
It's today? I don't know. Is Wendell's birthday today? I hadn't been on Facebook.
Damn it, Wendell.
Wendell, is today your birthday? I ain't got chat. I can't see chat. Can y'all see it?
Hold on.
He said he's 64 today.
Today is Wendell's birthday.
Happy birthday to Wendell. Oh, sorry.
Happy birthday.
Trying to get chat back up. But yeah, Wendell, if it is your birthday, happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, happy birthday, Wendell. I didn't know it was your birthday, man.
Happy birthday, Wendell.
Happy birthday.
As much as I don't love you, everybody else does, but happy birthday, brother. Seriously.
Oh my gosh, listen at him.
What?
We're gonna have to Wendell got his birthday present earlier when he got his Bigfoot police badge.
Yes, sir.
And I gave him that. So Wendell,
I know, that's what I'm saying. You ought to be good for like 10 years of presents.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Wendell.
Hello, Rusty.
Do you think he sleeps with that badge on?
Oh, that's fun.
Just curious.
That is
Probably. I bet he clips it on the band of his Fruit of the Looms.
Nice.
Hey, old Wendell's
I don't
the
mind.
man. He records all everything, man. That's what makes Wendell. You know.
I noticed Gary Spikes had commented a while ago, said, you hadn't never been to a meet and greet unless you've been Wendell. And that's the true statement.
Absolutely.
That is.
All the pictures on the website, that's Wendell Mosley. I don't think I took a picture. Didn't have to. Wendell had everybody in there. Wendell had them lined up on who was next.
Shut up, Squirrel.
That's what I'm talking about. Ain't nothing like a silicone spatula.
Safety, health and safety right there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Right. Just
thank you for doing the show. We'll get back on next Sunday. I'm sorry to have to cut it short in the middle of it, but not only is my phone about to die, but my bar is flashing on one right now. So I don't want to off on a crash.
All right. Well, right quick, give them a teaser. We got folks in the family, y'all, that's having activity right now. Got to get them back on. Let them talk about what's been going on around their place. So y'all definitely don't miss out. I'm gonna try to get my buddy Gerald back on the next few shows too.
Greg, I just want to know, are you coming to McMinnville again?
When is that?
August, I believe.
16th, I think.
Possibly. I'm not sure. I may wind up there.
Okay. Just curious.
It's not that bad a drive. So, but
okay. Cool.
Well, look, big love, everybody. Y'all.
Yep.
Like and share if you don't care.
Thanks for coming in, everybody. That's awesome.
Be careful out there. You hear?
Yep.
Oh, me too.
All right, y'all.
Nothing love, y'all.
Thanks for being on the show. All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Anything for you, Spencer.
Big love, y'all.
You like.
Thank you, brother.
Love y'all. Bye.
Love y'all.
Squirrel. Hey, y'all. Hey, Spencer. We're swapped around again.
Huh?
We're swapped around again. Hold on.
Yeah, but I know you do it on purpose.